Welcome to the objective review of the latest Marvel movie, Avengers: Infinity War. In in-objective review, I break a movie down into 6 categories and assign weights depending on the genre. And for this movie, really try and be objective about it because as you can see, I'm a huge DC fan. I do love all superheroes. When it comes to Marvel, I love their superheroes. I really love the X-Men. I really love Spider-Man. I really love Black Panther. Everyone else, I'm kind of just fine with. Captain America is really coming around to me. But that's the point, is trying to be objective as possible. I think when it comes to Marvel movies, I love at least 4 of them. I like the rest of them mostly, only really hate 2. So it's a great record. When it comes to the plot of this movie, the thing I feared most coming into it was that there's going to be a typical superhero team-up movie where aliens attack or something otherworldly attacks and our heroes band together and stop them. And that was pretty much the case in this movie. But luckily, there was a little bit more there. Thanos does want to pretty much conquer everything, including Earth, but you kind of get a good reasoning behind it. It's not like you empathize with him at all or really see where it's coming from. They just present his point of view on it. No matter how much you disagree with it, they actually present a point of view. He comes off a little bit more three-dimensional in that way. So he sends his cronies down to Earth to gather the Infinity Stones, which is really the biggest MacGuffin in movie history at this point. And it's a race to get them or keep them yourself. Some characters like Vision already has one, so it's a race to protect the Vision. Some other characters have them. And so pretty much just go along this journey while the whole entire cast is split up on these different journeys. And as a DC fan, in a weird way, I dislike this movie because when they first announced Justice League, I was like, oh yeah, the way you do it is Darkseid doesn't show up really until the 3rd act. You just have Darkseid send Granny Goodness and the Hell Furies and Big Barda before she kind of turns good, and they're gonna go wreck and fight the Justice League, and that didn't happen. I mean, I still like Justice League, but I felt like this could have been a better version of the Justice League. I love Justice League anyway. But other thing I really loved about this movie is that I believe the theme of it is self-sacrifice. What are you doing? What sacrifices are you making to really reach your goal, to really better the universe in your way, in your perspective? I really love that. Several characters were hit with that decision. Some of them went with it, some of them didn't. That's including Thanos, including Spider-Man, Star-Lord. I just really love that. You remind me of this quote from Avatar: Last Airbender where Avatar Yang Chen tells Aang something like, you must sacrifice your own spiritual necessity for the betterment of the universe. And I think that rang pretty clear in this movie. Ending, I think, was really good as well. Don't want to get too far into that. So for plot, I give it an 8 out of 10. Possibly would have gotten more, but there's not that much depth there beyond that, I think. But still, it's a really good, decent plot. On to emotion. For superhero movies, I like to assign 25% weight to emotion. And really, I don't think there's that much emotion in this movie. They tried to make you really empathize with Thanos, but that really didn't work for me. He still come off as, just I want to kill and destroy everything. I don't see how you can empathize with a person like that. But they really tried really hard on that, but that really fell flat. I think a lot of the other emotion that does really work comes from Spider-Man. He has one really great scene towards the end of the movie that I just really enjoyed. For some reason, it really hit me because I just love Spider-Man. Love that he's really just a kid facing these impossible tasks. And Star-Lord, I mean, what can you expect? I think Chris Pratt always brings it very emotional ever since the first Guardians movie. So they really worked with that, while Thanos did not. So for that, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. All right, action. For superhero movies, I assigned 20% weight to action. It was almost a foregone conclusion that this movie was going to do really well in the action category. My call-outs are the Hulk. He had one scene where I just really enjoyed. I mean, I kind of stood up in my chair and I was like, yeah, Hulk, get it. And Spider-Man was great. Really, everyone was great. I really enjoyed Black Widow. Her hand-to-hand combat is just really creative and it's really enjoyable to watch. And everyone's action sequences are pretty well done. And that might be my biggest issue with it, is that there wasn't so many people had to have different action sequences that there wasn't really one big memorable action sequence, like maybe like the end of the Avengers where you go from one person fighting this one thing to one person, camera just pans on them. Same thing happened in Age of Ultron. Maybe Josh Whedon is kind of a different director than the Russo brothers are. But it's more of a nitpick, really. So for the score on action, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. On to comedy. For superhero movies, I assigned a 5% weight to comedy. Comedy Marvel movies are always pretty good. My issue with them most of the time is that they come in at the most inopportune time. And this movie doesn't really have that issue, which is good to say. Mostly doesn't have that issue. They save the comedy for really maybe most of it for the first 2/3 of the film, which is good. That's what I like. And then when things get more serious, I mean, things kind of really turn dark. No one's cracking jokes anymore. So that was really good to see. So for comedy, I give it a 8 out of 10. There's some really great comedic moments. I think from Spider-Man and Iron Man. Iron Man has a joke where he calls this one dude Squidward, and I was cracking up at that because the dude really does look like Squidward. But all right, on to acting. For superhero movies, I like to assign a 15% weight towards acting. And the acting in this movie is pretty serviceable. Every single person does a pretty good job. No, there's no one lacking in it. Everyone does really well. Or everyone does pretty well. They do good enough. Except for Spider-Man. I really enjoy Spider-Man. I always enjoy him. I think he had one moment towards the end of the movie that was just really great. Other than that, there wasn't really that many standouts because I don't think that many people had that many lines. Like, the actors for the movie like this stretch pretty thin. So for acting, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, everyone does a very serviceable job. And for me, there's only just one standout, and that was Spider-Man. All right, on to directing. For superhero movies, I assign 15% weight towards directing. And in directing, I mean just how the whole entire movie kind of come together. I felt like it was paced really well. It always kept my attention. From the beginning, I thought it opened up really well. And it really, the directors really, kind of told you, all right, here's the weight of the movie. When this certain character goes down, these villains really mean business. So I really enjoyed that. But there was a whole lot of characters in this movie. And I think this is the first movie where I felt like there might have been too many. Because really, in order to keep track of all these characters, the movie kind of goes all over the place. And that's kind of sad to see because it kind of jumps. And as the audience member, you're just kind of like, all right, I don't know exactly what's happening right now, but I'm going to go with it. I don't know exactly why we have to go here at this point, but just kind of go with it. So that's one of the biggest issues of just having too many characters in the movie. I mean, there's like at least 20 big characters in this movie. But like I said, the pacing was good. The score was good. Cinematography was okay. There wasn't really any scenes, just still images. I thought this was just a beautiful image. I think the best one is, just introduction to Thanos and his children. I just really like the way that image looked. But the CG was good. There's only one case where I thought the CG wasn't great. There was just some motion capturing with Thanos. But other than that, the CG was great, as always. Marvel never really disappoints when it comes to CG. So for the score of directing, I give it an 8 out of 10, which that could have been better. But I thought it was just a little choppy in places and just kind of took us a little bit too far over the map of the whole entire universe. So now that I have all the weights and all the scores, the weighted average score is an 8.1 out of 10, which is really good. I really enjoyed this movie. You go see it. I want to know your objective score. Please comment. Follow me on Twitter @ObjectiveGeek, and I'm out.